About a year and a half, 2 years ago, a dude called James reached out to me and asked me to give him some feedback on a liqueur he had made with RJ's Licorice Allsorts, and it was absolutely freaking delicious. So we're gonna copy him. How's it going, chasers? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I'm Jesse, and this is still at the channel, all about chasing the craft of home distillation and making it a legitimate hobby. We do all sorts here, you know, make random spirits and mess around and see what delicious things we can make with those spirits as well. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. It's nice to have you here. James sent me in a few different spirits a while ago, and honestly guys, they were absolutely delicious. He did a really good job with all of them. And something I've been meaning to do ever since he did it was recreate the orange Licorice Allsorts. I guess it's a liqueur that he made. Not to mention the RJ's factory is literally about, I don't know, 15 kilometers that way from me. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's get stuck right in, guys. First of all, if you guys do not know what Licorice Allsorts are, they're these things. We would call them lollies here in New Zealand, candy in America, but they are layers of almost like icing sugar, lolly or candy layered with black licorice, you know, all the way down, and the different colors are slightly different flavors. I say slightly because some of them don't really taste like, I don't know what they're supposed to taste like, but the most sort of obvious taste in all of them to me is these ones, the orange ones, and they're supposed to taste like orange. So here's the plan, guys. I'm going to take just the orange Licorice Allsorts, cut them up to give them a better surface area, and macerate them in some basically vodka that I've made earlier. If you're not a regular on the channel, you probably haven't seen me do this, so you can check this video out here to see how I made it. If you don't make your own spirits or can't make your own spirits, that's fine. You can still fuck with this. Just buy some vodka from the local store. Maceration time might change a little bit because of different proof, but you'll be fine. So the plan is we're going to get 150 grams of Licorice Allsorts, and like I said, cut them up for greater surface area and mix that in with 300 mils of 60% vodka, basically. So that's a 1:2 ratio of the candy or the lollies to the vodka. If you're playing along at home and you're using 40% ABV, if you want to, you can scale that up from, you know, the 60% to the 40%, because later on I'm going to be proofing it back down, just so you know. Anyway, let's get stuck in. You're obviously aware, you've worked out that I've made 2 batches. And the reason for that is that James actually said, when I asked him about this, that he was interested, or he'd thought about using some fresh So I'm going to close these up. Every now and again I'm going to come past and give them a little shake, give them a little smell, because I don't know how long it's going to take to macerate these. Give them a taste, and when they're ready, I can report back to you. It's been a little over 24 hours, and the candy part of these things has pretty much completely dissolved, and the color's gone absolutely bonkers, as you can see. The licorice has not dissolved, which I was not expecting, but the flavor is sitting actually really close to what I would like. My guess is that if you let this sit for a little bit longer, it would get a little stronger towards the licorice side of things. But I'm happy with where it is now. So it's really just up to you guys, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm going to use this little filter here from Brewing in America. I'll put a link, not up there, I can't do that, sorry, down in the description below if you're interested. They're pretty cool. I've been using this thing a lot lately and I love it. But anyway, let's get it filtered through here. And unfortunately, the kind of the sludge, I guess, from the candy itself is going to be far too small to go, well, to be caught in a filter like this. To be honest, it doesn't bother me that much. I'm happy to drink it you know, this color and that opacity. I guess every time you pour a drink, you probably want to shake the bottle. If you wanted to get it a little bit more to a transparent orange, I would suggest letting it settle out, let all the particulate fall to the bottom in the container, and then siphon it off the top or syringe it off the top or something like that. I'm not going to bother, to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm not that worried about it. I think I learned my lesson on the first one. I'm not going to let the remnants of the candy fall in there. You know what? Let's just taste it at 60%. Why go throwing stuff at it if it doesn't need it? So let's do the straight candy one first. Yeah, so it's definitely a little bit on the boozy side, but there's a lot of flavor coming through on that. Way more citrusy, orangey, real orange with the orange skin, who would have guessed? But funnily enough, what it does is it actually cuts through the sugar quite a lot. I guess, I don't know quite why that is. I can't imagine there'd be a lot of acidity added with just the skin. Tell me what you guys think. I'm interested to hear if someone really knows what they're talking about when it comes to citrus fruit, you know, and what sort of compounds are in the peel. But this is a little bit too candy-ish for me. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? But this pushes it way in that direction. This loses the effect of it being a candy drink, I guess, if that makes sense. So I think what I'm going to do is I definitely need to proof it down. Let's aim for 35%. Just if you're new to distilling and you haven't run across this yet, once you've got sugar in something like this, you can't use a alchemitre. You just can't do it. The density's all up shit creek and it just doesn't work. So yeah, you're going to have to just do it by numbers. Unless you got some fancy ass equipment, it's just kind of the way it is, guys. With most things like this, I'm simply going to take a stab in the dark and start somewhere. So I'm going with 50-50 solution of each, and we'll see how that works out. The balance between the two is nice. I like that, but I need to go just a smidgen lower. I've just proofed this down, so it's going to feel a little more alcoholic and a little hotter than we want it to right now, while it settles and while it melds back together. But I still think it's just a touch too much. Much better. So the mix between the two is nice to one, and I like it at 35%, but I do think I'm going to back sweeten it just a touch, just to give it a little bit more mouthfeel and luxuriousness, if that makes sense. It's a candy thing, it's gonna be sweet. I'm cool with that. The easiest way to do that, for me anyway, is with just simple white table sugar made into a simple syrup. And I just do this once again by trial and error. So I'll add a little bit in, taste it, add a little bit in, taste it. And then when I've found a spot that I like, I'll come back to you and let you know where we sit. I think that'll about do it. So, just in case you're wondering about the concentration of sugar syrup, I don't bother measuring anything. I just dump sugar in water until it's at its saturation point. It won't dissolve anymore. Tip it out off the top of the sugar, give it another stir, it'll all dissolve. And I did not heat the liquid at all. So yes, I could get a stronger sugar syrup if I know, but I didn't. But the long and short of it is that I added 35 mils of sugar into this. It's rounded it out, it's given it some body. It'll smooth out even more over the next sort of 2 or 3 days. And interestingly enough, it's brought the licorice flavor out just a little bit more as well. And I actually kind of like that. I do kind of like that. So if you're playing along at home, you may want to leave this for 2 days and see how you get on. But once again, the beauty of doing these sorts of things is that it's entirely up to you, and you can do it how you want to do it, to your flavors, to your taste, to your preferences, which is pretty freaking cool. Now, I need to say a huge thank you to the Patreons. Thank you so much, Patreons. For those of you that don't know, these are the people that make this possible. They let me mess around in the shed and do weird stuff like this all the time. So thank you so much, Patreons. I really do appreciate it. Real quick tasting notes on this stuff. Once again, if you haven't had Licorice Allsorts, they have this cool, soft, really mellow, velvety feel in your mouth as you're eating them, and I think that kind of comes, it seems like the number one ingredient is icing sugar, and I think that's kind of where it comes from. You know how icing sugar has that really interesting mouthfeel? It's almost coconutty in some way. That comes through a lot. We have that candied orange, you know, like kind of orange but not quite thing going on, and that mingles, sort of interlaces with the real orange that's in there as well, and draws it just a little bit closer to being a, I don't want to say a real drink, but I think you know what I mean, right? The licorice comes through and plays in there as well. All in all, this is so much better than it has any right to be. So thank you, James, for putting this on my radar so long ago, and honestly, I can't believe it's taken me this long to get around to doing it. Now, would I sit down and drink this by itself? Every now and again, yeah, for sure, for nostalgia's sake. Would I mess around with it in cocktails? Hell yeah, that could be fun. I'd be really interested to hear if you guys have suggestions on, you know, drinks or mixed drinks or whatever that this would go well in, because I think there's a lot of potential for it. You guys know the drill. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it and you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button down below. That'd help me out a whole lot. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Keep on chasing the craft. See ya.